If you are someone who just can't seem to stay consistent, I promise you that is not a personality trait. You can absolutely become someone who actually sticks with things. And in this video, I'm going to break down what helps consistent people actually be consistent to help you be one of those people too. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Brianna, and just for some context, I used to be someone who thought I had a total of 0 willpower. I thought that I was someone who just really struggled to stay consistent and had thoughts like, why am I like this? Why can't I be more like her? But I have made so many changes. I am not that person anymore. I have owned my own business as a full-time fitness and nutrition coach for over 5 years now, and I have taken multiple courses on behavior change psychology, so I know a little bit about this subject. So let's go ahead and dive in. Consistent people are not creating the narrative that they're someone who can't follow through. When we perpetuate a narrative about ourselves, it becomes something we believe and then turns into a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy for a few reasons. Number one, we have confirmation bias. So if we're telling ourselves that we're bad at following through and staying consistent, we're automatically going to look for evidence that supports that belief, perpetuating that belief. Number two, our thoughts and beliefs directly influence our actions. So if we believe or feel like we're someone who just can't be consistent or can't follow through, then we're more likely to act in alignment with that. Then we're creating this cycle where we don't follow through as often because of this, and we might let this make us feel guilty or ashamed, which only helps perpetuate this cycle. I think we can all see where this isn't doing us any good. Consistent people do not hold on to the narrative that they struggle to follow through. It doesn't mean they stick with things 100% of the time, that they always follow through, that they do things perfectly, not by any means. However, because they don't create a story about it or make it bad or a big deal if they don't follow through, they don't perpetuate this cycle. They may skip a day or fall off from a routine they wanted to keep up with, but then they just get back to it. For example, let's say someone decided they want to journal every morning. In scenario one, that person does it for a little while and then notices that they're not doing it as much. They're not doing it every day like they initially told themselves they would. And then they judge themselves for it and think things like, ugh, I'm so bad at keeping up with things. I'm so bad at staying consistent. They continue to live through this narrative that they're not someone who's good at following through. Maybe there's someone who just doesn't have the discipline, and that impacts how they view themselves and their future actions, such as maybe they just stop journaling altogether. In scenario two, we have that same person who wants to do the same thing. They want to journal every morning, and same situation, they notice they haven't been doing it every single day, but this time they don't make it mean anything about them. They're okay with not doing it every single day, and they know they're still getting benefit from the times and days that they are doing it. And they think, okay, I'm not doing this quite as often as I wish I was. What could I be doing differently to help make it easier for me to do this more often? Maybe to do it every day. Big difference there. They also frame things as why they want to do them. When they think about doing something, they focus on why they want to do that thing. It doesn't mean that they don't have reasons why they don't want to do that thing, but instead of focusing on those thoughts and those reasons, they choose to focus on the want thoughts, at least more often than not. When looking through the lens of why they want to do it, this could be because it aligns with a value of theirs. It gives them some kind of satisfaction or the benefit that they gain from doing the thing. And guys, I am telling you, this makes such a difference. Like I said in the previous point, our thoughts and beliefs directly influence our actions. We are going to be so much more likely to do something if we are choosing to focus on why we want to do them than if we're focusing on the reasons that we don't want to do them. If I'm like, oh, I just really don't want to do the dishes, I would much rather just hang out here on the couch, odds are really high that I'm not going to get up and go do them. But if those thoughts come up, I can reframe them to something like, but I love a clean kitchen. A clean kitchen makes me feel so good. Or I really want to show up for myself and keep a clean space, so I'm gonna go clean the kitchen. Or it'll only take 10 minutes and I can throw on some music and dance while I do it. If we are able to switch into that mode, that want mode, we are so much more likely to take action. Consistent people also allow for more flexibility. If I told myself I'm going to work out every morning before work and my plan includes a 45-minute lifting program, if I currently tend to think more all or nothing, then if I wake up late, I'm more likely to just not work out that day. My routine was different, I didn't have all 45 minutes, and because I wasn't able to work out in the morning like I had planned, that whole day is just a wash. Or I'll tell myself that I'm just going to push it to another day, but in my experience, if our current thought habits are more all or nothing, then telling ourselves that we're just going to push it to another day or do it tomorrow doesn't usually mean anything. It usually still doesn't happen. But on the other side of the coin, someone who is more consistent is able to think more flexibly. So let's say, same scenario, but if I wake up late, that doesn't mean it's a wash. I can do whatever I can within 20 minutes if that's the amount of time I have. I can pivot to a different kind of workout or exercise depending on the context of my circumstances. I can push my workout to after work even if I don't really like that and don't really want to. Or maybe I text a friend and I'm like, hey, any chance you would join me for a spin class after work? I missed my workout this morning and I would love the accountability. I can pivot. Instead of dropping or not doing the thing, you can adjust. Consistent people also create a more supportive environment. Our environments absolutely influence our actions, and there are a few things I want to say about this. One, we obviously can't control everything in our environment, but we can focus on what we can control, what we can change. And two, oftentimes we can change more than we tell ourselves that we can. So just watch for excuses that might come up around that. But for example, someone who is really consistent with eating healthy and staying fit and active likely has adjusted a lot of aspects of their environment to support that lifestyle. They probably keep healthier foods at home. They probably spend more time doing active things with friends instead of going out to bars. They likely have a lot of friends or a community that also values staying more active. They might have a home gym or live near a gym or live near a walking trail. They might bring their own lunch to work so they're not subject to the food at work or near their work. They might keep some food prepped so that they're far less likely to order takeout. Our environment plays such a role in our decisions and our behaviors. You might have more of an environment issue than you do a self-control issue. So how can you tweak your environment to help you be more consistent with the actions that you have in mind? They are also able to bridge self-discipline with self-compassion. Beating yourself up and being really hard on yourself does not work. Always allowing yourself off the hook also does not work. Self-compassion is not letting yourself off the hook. It's simply seeking understanding. I don't love that I did that. I'm a bit frustrated with myself, but I can accept and understand why I did that. And if we're able to bring understanding to the situation, we're going to better be able to understand what will help us show up differently next time. You want to be able to hold yourself accountable and choose to show up for yourself and have acceptance and understanding instead of beating yourself up or talking to yourself real negatively. Consistent people also have an identity that aligns with them showing up and doing the thing. They have a self-perception that they're capable of following through, that they're the type of person who does the thing, whatever that thing is. Likely that they're the type of person who actually likes doing the thing. It probably isn't who they always were. It probably was a journey to get them to be that type of person or have that identity and self-perception. But now that they're there, that makes it so much easier and so much more likely that they continue to do that thing. Someone who views themselves as a healthy eater is more likely to eat healthier meals. Someone who views themselves as someone who likes exercise is more likely to go exercise. Someone who views themselves as a person who keeps a clean and tidy space is more likely to keep a clean and tidy space. You can choose to reinvent yourself at any time. You can choose to be a new version of yourself at any time. If you want to go for walks after work more often, you can take on the identity of being someone who goes for walks after work because you enjoy it or because you really like how they make you feel. You can choose to stop carrying around the identity or self-perception that you are someone who just sucks at following through. And I highly recommend you do. You can absolutely change what you believe and who you are. And the last thing, consistent people manage their self-talk more often and better. I don't know if you noticed, but there was a theme in all of the earlier points, and that theme was what's going on up here. and being more conscious and intentional with what's going on up in our brain. Improving your self-talk skills is the number one thing that will help you change your actions and become more consistent, better at following through, having more self-control or more willpower. And what I mean by this is your internal dialogue, being able to notice what your brain is saying and then being intentional with how you respond, or being able to reframe things, or being able to shift your mind's focus. For example, if I notice my brain saying something like, I don't really feel like it, I can notice that, not make it mean anything more than just an arbitrary thought that my brain decided to throw out, and then respond by something like, actually, I will feel so much better if I did it, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. Or if my brain says, I told myself I was gonna do this today, but I can just do it tomorrow. I can notice that and have the awareness that usually when I say that, I end up just pushing things off for days and weeks, potentially months, catch myself and go, actually, I'm just going to take care of this right now. I can notice when my brain is focused on why I don't want to do something and choose to shift my focus to why I do want to do the thing. It's all about having more awareness of our thoughts and consciously choosing thoughts that actually help us take action. So today I went over 7 things that people who stick with things more often tend to do. And what I want you to know that these are all skills that you can cultivate. These are not personality traits. So as you practice these things over time, they will come more naturally to you. It's kind of all about putting in the reps. And what I want you to do is take one of those 7 things and for the next week, practice that skill. Pay more attention to your thoughts and behaviors and your interaction between them. If you found this really helpful and want to learn more about why you do what you do and how you can learn to work with your brain to help you change your habits and your self-talk, then check out this video here. Make sure to comment down below what you're working on doing more often, what you want to be more consistent with. Thank you so much for being here and have a fabulous day.